So you're thinking about buying a home in the Brainerd Lakes area. Well, buckle up because this is about to be a roller coaster of emotions and legal paperwork and probably a few existential crises. But don't worry, I'm here to help. I'm not the government knocking on the door. Hey, we're the government. We're here to help. I am truly here to help you navigate this maze of confusion. That way, you don't have to end up buying a house with a sinking foundation just because it had a nice kitchen. All right, in this video, we're going to be walking through really the entire home buying process from start to finish, from getting pre-approved to negotiating like a pro. We'll even clear up some of the rule changes. That way you're not blindsided by new buyer agreements, agent compensation, how does that work, right? And all the fun legal fine print. If that sounds like fun, let's go ahead and get after it right now. All right, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about buying a home and moving to and living in the Brainerd Lakes area, make sure you subscribe below, tap that bell for notification. That way you're going to be the first to know about the latest happenings and the market updates, home buying tips, all that here in the Brainerd Lakes area. You might even know where the best burger in town is, right? My name is Noah Gedker with eXp Realty. And I love to help people like you buy homes in the Brainerd Lakes area without losing their minds, okay? And if you're thinking about making a move, reach out. Whether you're going to be moving in 9 days or 9 months, let's make sure you do this the right way. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the very first step, finding an agent. They're going to help you guide you through from the beginning to the end. And plus you really legally have to now. So fun fact, you now have to sign a written agreement with an agent before you can tour a home. Now, before you can even step foot into a house, you need to be signing a buyer agency agreement with a realtor or a real estate agent, even if you're doing just a virtual tour of a home. So what is this magical document, this written agreement? Well, or what's in it? One of the big things, of course, is because the realtors don't work for free. How much does the agent get paid? How much does the brokerage get paid, right, for helping find you a home? Hint: if the seller is not paying it, you might have to. Okay, so that's important to figure that out right away. Okay. Another thing you're going to find in there is what services the agent will provide. Is it just hey, I'll set you up on an auto search and see what happens, or are they going to move your furniture for you? Take your cat for a walk? Who knows? It could be a number of things. But make sure it's clear. You understand what you're agreeing to, right? Set those expectations right out of the gate, okay? Another thing that might be in there would be an easy exit clause. Well, at least in my contracts anyways. So if your agent is no good, you should be able to fire them, right? You're fired. So yeah, before you go house hunting, let's go ahead and set up a Zoom call and make sure that we're a good fit. You wouldn't hire a lawyer without talking to them first, right? So, and on that initial Zoom call, we'll find out, hey, what are you looking for? What is your timeline? What are your expectations? And we can kind of start to put together a strategy, help you connect with what will be step number 2 is getting pre-approved with a lender. Unless you're planning to buy a house with a suitcase full of cash, you're going to need a lender. And if you've got that suitcase full of cash, call me ASAP right now. Actually, I'll stop recording and we'll get started right away. So, but you'll need a pre-approval for a mortgage. It's basically the bank's way of telling you how much they think you can afford. And let's be honest, some banks are a little too optimistic on what they think you may be able to afford. Just because they say you can buy a house for $500,000 doesn't mean you should. You might be at the top of your budget. So unless you're surviving on ramen noodles for the next 30 years, you'll want to be careful. Don't max out your budget, right? So here's why this matters, getting pre-approved, right? First thing, sellers won't take you serious without it, okay? That's just the bottom line. Would you let somebody test drive your car if you were trying to sell it if you didn't think that they had the money to buy it? Probably not. Another reason it's important so you don't fall in love with a home you can't afford, right? If you're a 3 looking at a 9, It's just way out of your league, right? So you want to be realistic, okay? You'll know what your monthly payment is going to be. You can budget accordingly. You're not going to be too deep, too far over your head, right? Pro tip: work with a lender that knows the local market, not just some random online bank that looks like they have some great rate or some, they're probably going to disappear when you need them the most. I have great connections, certainly, of lenders to recommend that we work with all the time, that go above and beyond. So that's something, again, we will discuss on our initial Zoom call to when we kind of put together a strategy for you. Okay. All right. Ready for the third step in the home buying process. Okay. We've set out a strategy for our home search, got you pre-approved with a great local lender. Now we can start hunting, right? This is where dreams meet reality. Okay. So it's the fun part. This is where we separate your Pinterest dreams from what's actually available in your price range. You tour homes, get excited. There's gonna be times you'll get disappointed and even question your entire existence. And that's okay. That's normal. But before we start swiping Zillow like it's a dating app, let's talk strategy, okay? So number one, in house hunting, we're gonna lay out a list of non-negotiables, right? We're gonna separate the must-haves and the desires, right? Well, those are important, but they're kind of secondary at times. So question: do you need a garage? And if so, does it need to be attached or detached? How big of a garage is it? What is the purpose of the garage going to be for, right? Do you store a boat in there? And if so, will the garage be deep enough? So does it need to be finished, heated garage? Just with that alone, there's so many questions we want to make sure. What are the things that you have to have, right? Does it need to be a fenced in yard? If it's not a fenced in yard, but everything else is great about the property, can it be fenced in? And what will it cost, right? So, is a kitchen big enough for your sourdough making phase? You just got to know what your must-haves are, right? Second thing, location, location, location. The Brainerd area has a little bit of everything from your classic historic homes, right? To quiet suburban neighborhoods, to lakefront properties, for those of you who want to be as far away from, you don't like neighbors, you don't like people, you want to have as 40, 80, 120 acres. Those are all important things to know, right? Where we need to narrow down our search a little bit, right? Don't want to be all over the place, because if you do that, you're really actually never going to find a place. The more fine-tuned your search is, the more you'll be able to go, okay, that's the place for me. So third thing, work with an agent like me, because let's be real, trying to buy a home alone is like trying to perform a surgery on yourself. Possible, maybe. Good idea, probably not. And remember, no house is perfect, okay? If you're holding out for this dream home that you have a vision of, with the perfect price, the perfect location, no issues whatsoever, I've got some bad news for you. That home doesn't exist. Somebody's got to break the bad news to you, all right? The good news is you can find the perfect place for you and your budget, okay? That is out there, and there's not just one. Let's talk to the Brainerd Lakes area market for 2025, okay? So if you want a lake home, you're going to shell out at least $500,000, right? Can you find stuff less than that? Sure, depending on what your needs and wants are, right? That's going to be different for everybody. But generally speaking, you're going to be at least $500,000, but that's going to all depend on what lake you're looking at, what type of property you're looking for. Because certainly on Gull Lake or the Whitefish Chain, you could easily be looking at 1, 2, 3 million. Okay. And if you want to be on a lake and your budget is whatever it is, X budget, we need to talk about that and be realistic. If you're looking for $300,000 and want to be on a lake, that is possible, but we have to talk about what you'll actually find at that price. Okay. And you have to listen to your realtor when they set expectations for you, okay? If you're looking for a starter home, really homes under $300,000, as long as they're not a $200,000 home priced at $250,000, way overpriced, those homes are going to move fast, right? So you need to be ready to write an offer immediately, okay? That's why it's so important that when we first meet, that you would spell out a strategy and knowing exactly what you want, so that when we find what it is you're looking for, we can take action right away. All right, you're looking for new construction maybe, right? be prepared to wait possibly 3 to 6 months, depending on the phase of construction of that home. Okay. And the reality is buying new construction, really you're paying a premium. You're paying, kind of like buying a brand new car, where in one sense you're losing value right off. You pull it off the lot. Last time I checked, the average home, brand new home in this market, sold for like 43% or 40 something percent above average sale price for a previously owned home. So you're going to be paying more just right out of the gate. Okay. So you still want to work with a real estate agent. The builders represents the best interests of that builder, not you. They will not be negotiating on your behalf. Okay. Or looking out for your best interest. If there are issues with the house, they're going to be, even though it's new construction, there will be issues. More than likely, they're going to be representing the builder, not you. Okay. Bonus tip: the house with the best staging, fancy countertops, that's probably not the best deal. And so I'll help you spot hidden gems in the marketplace that aren't going to drain your wallet. All right, moving right along to step 4. So you found the home, found the right one. Awesome. Now it is time to make an offer that actually gets accepted. So here are some strategies for winning in 2025. So your real estate agent, hopefully me, run a market analysis to figure out if the home is actually worth the asking price or whatever you're going to be offering for that home, right? Or is the seller just feeling really ambitious, right? They've overpriced it. You've got to know that. For one thing, the bank is only going to give you so much money. They're not going to give you more than the home is worth just because you think it's worth that much, right? You may love the house and be willing to pay 25, 30, 50,000 over the asking price. Let's be honest, as home buyers, we get pretty emotional, and that we buy off emotion, right? The bank just looks at the numbers. What is the home worth? What is the risk involved, right? The next thing is making sure to include a strong deposit. Sellers love serious buyers, right? You're gonna look at somewhere between around 2 to 5% of a deposit, and then negotiating smartly, right? Maybe the seller is covering buyer agent fees. Maybe they aren't. So we need to figure that out before you get sticker shock, right? That's my job, is to negotiate. Make sure you pay as little as possible for that property as you can. That's why it's generally better to not have a dual agency situation working with the listing agent, right? It's better not to call the agent that's on the sign. Call your own agent who represents your best interest. Talk to them. Next, don't lowball. This isn't 2008. If you try to undercut by 50,000, the seller is likely just to laugh and move on. Buyer concessions are your friend. Sellers they can't put agent commissions in the MLS anymore, but they can cover closing costs, right? So that's something we can negotiate. We want to make sure that we craft an offer also that is clean as possible, knowing what the seller's motivations are, as long as they're willing to disclose that, knowing what are the most important factors to them are. Is it a closing date? Do they need extra time to get out? Maybe after closing, they need more time, right? So would it be advantageous to you as a buyer to go, hey, after we close, you could have 1 more month to arrange for moving to your next home? Maybe that's really important to them, right? We'll just do a rent back and they just pay you, but at least that might be the difference between you getting that house that you really love or not, right? Some little, strategy like that to negotiate, to have your offer stand out above any other potential competing offers, okay? All right, moving on to step 5. So you love the house, you got an accepted offer, but does the house love you back? So it's time for an inspection, okay? I'm always going to recommend get a home inspection to protect this very large investment, right? Here's some things that we're checking for, right? If it has a home inspection completed on it, it's going to have a long list of things that need to be addressed in some way or fashion, right? Well, so we're really looking for some major items that, if there are issues there, could cause serious financial strain to you and your family, or worse, right? So the first thing is the roof. Really with roof, we're just making sure that there's no water intrusion points at all. You don't want to be surprised with a indoor water feature that you were not expecting with the property, okay? So that's the major one. The foundation, we're looking for any foundational issues like crumbling or cracks, that kind of thing. Plumbing and electrical. Showers shouldn't shock you, okay? The major issues with houses generally are going to be water and moisture related. If you can eliminate those, water and moisture, and then foundation and roof issues, those are really kind of the biggest things. You can get a new furnace, you can get a new water heater. Those are pretty simple. There's a cost to them, of course, but the electrical can be pretty challenging depending on, is it updated electrical, right? Or is it knob and tube wiring, which isn't the end of the world, but you have to know what you're working with, right? In the Brainerd Lakes area, a lot of homes, if they're in town, generally are going to be on city water and sewer. However, if they're kind of on the outskirts of town or out in more rural areas between the different towns in the Brainerd Lakes area, you're generally going to be hooked up to a private well and private septic system. And trust me, you don't want any surprises there. So we want to make sure that those are compliant and you're drinking good water and your septic system does not have any issues. Okay. So if major issues pop up, we can take the opportunity to renegotiate or walk away depending on what the issues are and what your motivations are. And trust me, walking away is much better than buying a money pit. All right, we have reached the final step. Closing day is finally happening after inspections, appraisals, biting your nails, and approximately a million signatures. You finally arrive at closing day. So here's what happens. You sign a whole bunch of papers. Should have hand cramps. You hand over your money, your cash, well, not probably cash, but a check for the down payment, which generally is going to be 3.5% to 20%, depending on your loan type, if it's FHA or conventional loan. You've signed paperwork, you've handed over the down payment, you get the keys, and you officially own the place. And generally, once you are finished signing and have the keys, you now have possession of the property. Okay, congratulations, you made it. Final pro tip though, do not open new credit cards or buy a new car before closing. Actually, once you start going down this process of beginning to look to buy a home, do not do any of those things, right? Lenders will do a final credit check. And if you suddenly have a $700 car payment, your home loan likely will fall through at the finish line. And you absolutely do not want that. All right, and that's it. That's your step-by-step guide to buying a home in the Brainerd Lakes area. Pretty easy, right? Maybe not so easy, but at least with my help, with the help of a realtor, the process can be made simple and easy. If you're ready to start the process of moving to the Brainerd Lakes area, reach out, call, text, email, schedule a Zoom. I'd love to help you find your dream home, find the right home for you, and avoid costly mistakes and make sure that your move is as smooth as possible. And hey, before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. That way you don't miss any of the future videos. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you around town.